In this video, let's take a closer look at what makes the fairy godmother in Shrek 2 such a big-time villain. First off, it's her sneaky, controlling personality and cold, ruthless attitude.
I told you, ogres don't live happily ever after!
The Shrek series is famous for poking fun at and turning traditional fairy tales upside down, and the fairy godmother is a perfect example of that. Normally, when you think of a fairy godmother, you imagine someone kind, caring, and helpful, like a magical grandma who wants the best for everyone. But this fairy godmother is totally different. She's super manipulative and doesn't care about anyone else's happiness except her own. She's obsessed with keeping power and control over the kingdom, and she has a very strict idea of what a perfect fairy tale world should look like. In her perfect world, ogres like Shrek, and other outcasts, simply don't belong. She wants to get rid of them or keep them out of the way. To do this, she uses potions and magic as tools to control people and shape events exactly how she wants. Her biggest plan involves trying to trick Princess Fiona into falling in love with her son, Prince Charming. She really wants Fiona to marry her son because that would guarantee her family's power and influence would keep growing. Power is her main goal. Everything she does is about holding on to it and making sure her son ends up on the throne. Some people even think that she was behind the curse on Fiona that locked her away in that tower. The idea is that she wanted to make sure her son could rescue her and marry her, which would secure their control over the kingdom. But of course, that plan was ruined because Shrek showed up first and stole the spotlight.
Princess Fiona?
No!
Oh, thank heavens. Where is she?
She's on her honeymoon.
Honeymoon? With who?
The fairy godmother is really driven by this strong need to keep things exactly how traditional fairy tales say they should be. She represents all those strict and kind of oppressive social rules about how people are supposed to look, act, and live, like ideas about beauty, status, and having the perfect happy ending. She's totally obsessed with keeping this idea of perfection in a clear social hierarchy, which means she cares a lot about appearances and who's in charge. This puts her completely against Shrek and Fiona's kind of love, which is all about accepting each other no matter what, and not caring about what others think.
Ogres don't live happily ever after.
Unlike a villain who just uses muscle and brute force, the fairy godmother is more about clever plans and sneaky moves. She works secretly with Fiona's father and even plots to have Shrek killed. Plus, she uses magic potions to mess with people's feelings and what they see, changing how they think and act to fit her goals.
I mean, you can't force someone to fall in love.
I beg to differ. I do it all the time. Have Fiona drink this and she'll fall in love with the first man she kisses, which will be charming.
This really shows she's all about using trickery, influence, and deception instead of just fighting openly. What makes her really stand out as a villain is how she dresses and acts. She's super stylish, confident, and glamorous on the outside, which almost draws you in, but underneath, she's cruel and selfish. She has this magnetic, charming vibe that makes her both captivating and dangerous. That mix of charm and cruelty is what makes her such a memorable character, and why so many people find her fascinating. She's the perfect kind of villain because she pushes Shrek and Fiona to not just fight against her, but also to challenge the bigger idea of what society thinks love and identity should look like.
I want what any princess wants. To live happily ever after. With the ogre I married.
This struggle adds a lot more depth to the story's message about being true to yourself and finding real love beyond appearances and social rules.